Pleasure to welcome in Jose Canseco to the program live from the Coliseum. Jose, you're fresh off your 60th birthday. You're looking great. How are you doing?
Yeah, July 2nd, I turned 60. Well, some parts of my body feel young and others feel old. But average-wise, I guess I'm doing pretty good. Still playing softball, getting out there and having fun playing golf. Just trying to stay active, still working out, of course.
Hey, Jose, to get right into it, and I never knew this until I just looked at this. The year you stole 40 and hit 40 home runs, was it just your intent to accomplish the 40-40 and never really, look at stealing bases again, at least at that level? Or what played into you never getting close to 40 stolen bases again?
Yeah, that's a great question. Never been asked. Actually, remember in 1986, I think I stole 15 bases, got thrown out twice. 1987, I think it was the same thing, so I thought I had the ability to steal bases, even though back then I didn't have the green light. So I knew I had the ability, high percentage. Now, during the offseason, 87, I worked with some sprinting technicians at the University of Miami and worked on my start, because, of course, I was 6'4", about 235 pounds, very tall, very lanky. And I knew that if I was going to accomplish the 40-40, something never been done before, I had to work on my first step. So during the offseason, after the 87 season, I worked on my first step. And I came into spring training telling people I was going to do the 40-40. What I didn't realize is that it had never been done before. I thought it could be accomplished, and I thought I could do it because of my stats in the past. I thought actually because at the Coliseum, the ball didn't travel that well, especially at nighttime, that the 40 bases were going to be very difficult. I didn't think the 40 home runs were going to be very difficult, more difficult than 40 stolen bases. And I remember being on pace in the All-Star break and thinking, okay, all I got to do is stay healthy and accomplish it. Now, after the 40-40 was done, you're correct. But again, I think what happened was because of my injuries, I think teams wanted to keep my actual bat in the lineup instead of stealing bases trying to get hurt because I was so tall and getting heavier as I grew older. I think I finally peaked out 250 pounds when I was playing the last couple of years. But when I was with the Toronto Blue Jays, here's the ironic part. I was only weighing 230 pounds. I slimmed down a lot. And I'll make a comment, of course. That was the first year that I actually went cold turkey off steroids, did not use steroids at all, only weighed 229 pounds. You could verify that with the medical reports in spring training. And I went for the 40-40 again. By the All-Star break, I was set to do it. All of a sudden, the Toronto Blue Jays asked me to stop stealing bases. I could have done it again twice, but actually I hit 46 home runs that year and ended up with 29 stolen bases. But they asked me, please, we don't want you stealing bases anymore. We want you bat in the lineup. And I thought that was the year I could have accomplished the 40-40 again.
See, I think what happened is you got 40-40 in 1988. Then 89, Ricky came back, and he took all your stolen bases away. So I'll use that as an excuse. What a weird question by Stu, but no, that was an interesting answer.
Great question.
It brings me to your bobblehead, which I know you can't see this, what I'm holding up right now. It's rare that anybody would have the dual bobblehead. You're hitting a home run here. You're stealing a base right here. Just like, that was Milwaukee, I think, where you got the 40th. What do you think about your bobblehead?
I saw it. I like it. I like it a lot. It kind of shows the, the double attack that I actually had. I mean, I was a very big guy, very tall guy, and I did do the 40-40. But I think if people, this stat, I don't think anybody knows. Do you know that from second base, I was never thrown out at home plate, period, in history of the game for me?
Like on a base hit, you're saying, from second to home?
Never, exactly. And I had speed, so they sent me. Was never thrown out at home plate when I was sent from second base. That's how long my legs were. That's how fast. I was actually pretty fast once I actually got going. So I'm glad they actually put that, because I kind of prided myself in base stealing, the way I ran bases, the way I took extra bases. And I don't think people realize, because I was so tall and how long my legs were, how fast I actually was.
You're more of an athlete than Stu. You can just say it. Go ahead, Stu. Your turn.
I don't know about that. Stu's pretty athletic.
Hey, Jose, going into the season, it's crazy, man, getting this opportunity to talk to you about things that we probably should have talked about when we were teammates. But going into the season, I was motivated as a pitcher to pitch innings. That was my goal, to pitch innings. As an offensive and defensive player, what goals did you set for yourself going into the season? Was it numbers, number of home runs, or was it, I'm going to play X amount of games, and if I play this amount of games, or if I get this amount of at-bats, then this is going to be the result of that? How did you set your goals, or were you goal-oriented going into seasons?
Yeah, I agree with you. I was goal-oriented in the sense being healthy, because I was very, injury prone. I really was. So my main thing was, I knew if I could stay in the lineup, just stay healthy. Of course, playing baseball, I must have had 12, 13 surgeries. 3 or 4 back surgeries, arm surgery, hand surgery, the whole combination. So my main thing was, I knew that if I was in the lineup, I would put together great numbers. And if you look historically, 1 home run per 15 at-bats, but I really only played 15 years because of my injuries. I knew that stay in the lineup, stay healthy, get your at-bats, and good things would actually happen.
Jose, this could obviously be maybe your final trip to the Coliseum to watch Major League Baseball in Oakland. When you come back here today and this weekend, how does it make you feel?
Well, I'm actually here right now. It feels great. I've always loved this ballpark. I never liked the way the ball carried here at nighttime during the old Oakland 80s and early 90s. But I remember when I was traded in 92 with Texas. Very heartbroken, very kind of lost in a sense, and because I really only knew the Oakland A's in the minor leagues, and then being brought up in 85 and 86, 87, 88 through 92. So I've always had a soft spot for the Oakland A's and the Oakland A's baseball. So I love coming back here.
Hey, Jose, my final question to you is, as an Oakland A, wearing that uniform, you had a lot of great moments as an Oakland A. Is there anything that you wished you would have accomplished before being traded to the Texas Rangers?
Oh, my God, absolutely, Stu. With the team that we had, I wish we would have won more World Series. I think it was just bad timing on our sense. But we had an incredible team. I wish I could have stayed healthier. I wish I could have been a lot more mature about the way I handled the media and certain events in my life. I think when you look back, I was just a kid, 21 to 24, 25 years old. But hindsight, when you look back, you think, I wish I could have done things differently, absolutely, to make things better for myself, my family, and people around me.
Jose, when I got to know you real well during the, 2017 season, you were a coworker here at NBC Sports back then. It was very obvious. It was very obvious. Yeah, you invited me to join you in the hot tub too one time, but I passed.
You turned me down. I'll never forget that.
I think if it's open, I might take you on it now. You obviously wanted to find a path and a way back to baseball. I could see your interest in doing something in a real baseball capacity. Is that still your goal? Have you moved on from that? Where do you stand on maybe the future of yourself in Major League Baseball?
I think as players, I don't think we ever move on from baseball. I think because it was our life since we were small kids, and we got to fulfill our childhood dreams, meaning playing Major League Baseball. For myself, being an MVP and going to the World Series and winning one. So I accomplished everything as a child that you really want to do. Does it ever leave your system? No. Do you ever forget about it? No. Do you always want to stay in touch with it and talk about it and be a part of it? Absolutely, yes.
Well, appreciate your time, Jose. Enjoy the Coliseum today and the reception I know you're going to get. It's a pleasure to have you here on our show, too. So be well, buddy.
Take care, guys. Take care, Stu.
Take care, Jose.